Luke, Atlas Progress champion. You know what I mean? 21 years old, only a battle, but look, it's the belt's back finally. We know Walter obviously gave it up a couple of years back, but it's been a crazy month for you. But tell us, what's it like to have that goal around the waist?
I mean, it's the biggest accomplishment of my life, not only just wrestling, but my life in general. You know, to be the 6th Atlas champion with the prestige that belt has, you know, if we go from the first person that had it, Rampage, to the last person that had it, Walter, you know, that's a lot of lineage that. And I've got the belt and I'm the youngest singles champion in Progress history. So, yeah, it's a bit of an unexplainable feeling sometimes.
Definitely. Look, it's been a beautiful journey so far for you, but you're out of 4 years, you know what I mean? Tell us, first of all, how did you get involved in wrestling? Were you know, the fan growing up as a kid?
Yeah, since I was 3 years old, I think. My brother had Here Comes the Pain on PS2. And I just saw, you know, I just discovered what wrestling was and just fell in love with it. I was absolutely taken aback by it. And ever since then, I've never not loved it. You know, I never grew out of it or any of that nonsense. And then I think I watched WrestleMania 32 and I just thought, why am I not doing this? So, and then that was it. The rest is history.
I think the first match for you was Wolverhampton, wasn't it? 2019, I believe, was it?
Oh no, my first match was in 2018. Yeah, for a company called Future Shock, which is where I started. Yeah, that was my first match back in Press Switch. Yeah, in 2018.
Press Switch. How did you find the bumps and the knocks? Because look, as a fan, right, we all talk the talk, and you know we don't walk the walk. But look, obviously it's grueling. I always remember talking to Finn Balor. And I sat down with him for about an hour. He was telling me the stuff he'd done in Japan, like, you know, with I think it was 1,000 squats a day, you know, like 500 push-ups per day. It's obviously quite grueling.
Yeah, you know, the bumps and things like that, definitely. The wear and tear starts quite quickly. You know, I'm only 21 and, you know, my back's a bit of a mess. I have a dislodged kneecap and all these sorts of things, but it's all a part of the business. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. You've just got to kind of tough up and deal with it because it's all worth it, you know, especially when you're winning the Atlas Championship. It's just all a part of it.
Real. And obviously, look, on the way to winning that, you had a big win over Big Demo. We had Big Demo here in Cork for Phoenix Wrestling last weekend, but that's obviously a great little feat on way to winning that title.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's an honor to work with people like that. And you know, Damo, he did become a global superstar, but he also wrestled on the scene where I started and where I come from. So it's, you know, it's an honor for someone like that to come back and wrestle me. And you know, I went into that fully confident as well. Although I know where he's been and what he's done, people like that, but I know my own abilities. But yeah, that was a great experience.
You know, Luke, speaking of progress, right? We know a lot about progress all around the world, but in Ireland especially, you know, I mean, we're keen to perhaps have a progress invasion here if it's OTT wrestling in Dublin or Phoenix and Cork. But what's it like to be part of such a big brand? Look, they're making waves all across the world, and you know, in my opinion, easily one of the biggest indie scenes of all time, not just now.
Yeah. It's a proper honor. Like it's crazy to be in the position I am in now, and to especially, you know, be flying the flag for Progress, being one of their champions now. You know, along with names such as Jonathan Gresham, Giselle Shaw, and the 0121, who are all amazing champions in their own right. Yeah, I'm really proud to be that guy for them now.
And like, you know, we've seen the news, the headlines broke. You know, we were on Twitter, obviously. Because we couldn't attend, obviously we watched Twitter quite a lot. We wait for the feeds and all that kind of stuff. But when you won that championship, it was no surprise to us. You know what I mean? They've seen the talent you have in general, like previous matches, like even in the Red Pro days. Look, it's we've all knew you had 5-star matches in it, but it's you know what I mean? There's a beautiful journey ahead for you. It's fair to say. Like when it comes to challengers, Luke, who are you expecting to come forward and challenge you? Because look, it's one of the most prestigious belts in all of indie wrestling right now.
Yeah, you know, it definitely feels like a culmination of a lot of years of hard work, and you know, everyone deserves to be in. You know, all the wrestlers in this country put a lot of work in, and all deserve to be in different situations. You know, prominent positions. But I just, you know, I feel like that Atlas title in a way was destined for me. You know, I was going to stop at nothing to get that belt. And as far as challenges are concerned, you know, I'll take on anyone. I don't care where they come from, whether they come from Europe, America, Japan. I couldn't care less. You know, once they're in there, I'm not the same young wrestler anymore. You know, I'm the Atlas champion, and it's my division now. So wherever they want to come from, I'm open to everyone, whether it be open challenges, anything. They can bring anyone in, and then I'll give them a fight of their life.
I love it. Now, how are you expecting 2022 to plan out? Because look, obviously things are kind of back to normality, which is great news. I know in the UK, like things are a lot more kind of straightforward. In Ireland, we're pretty much there as well. But you're looking to make up for lost time. That pandemic was a load of bollocks. You know what I mean? We had 2 years, a lot of restrictions. How did you find that? Obviously, you are making up for lost time right now.
You know, I really struggled when the pandemic started. I feel like, you know, I had a lot going for me and I was on a good trajectory, especially with my tag partner. We were getting to a position we wanted to be in, and we felt like we lost everything, really. Kind of that my life, you know, reset, and I didn't have the one thing I loved, which was wrestling. But when we came out of it, I wrestled during the pandemic behind closed doors, and that was a good start to get back in the rhythm of it. But the way it is now, and I definitely feel like I'm making up for lost time now. I feel like I'm back on the path that I wanted to be on. The path I didn't, you know, expect to be on so soon. But I'm glad I'm in the position I am, and I'm just going to run with it now. You know, this is in this country, in the British wrestling scene. This is my year now, especially, and it'll be my tag partner's year as well when he's back from injury.
Definitely. No, Northwest Strong, right? It's a stable that we know extremely well, but obviously you're very proud of that. It's a serious combo there, and like, there's no doubt a dominant force whenever needed to be called on. Because look, we know the singles action, there's the tag action, but look, let's be honest, it's a really tough stable, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of tough people in that group, hard workers, real pure professional wrestlers. You know, who've put the effort in and deserve to be in prominent positions up and down the country and internationally. You know, it's if you pick for that group, it means you're something special. It means you have a serious wrestling ability in this country. You know, although people say there's a lot of members, there's 8 people. That's really not that lot in the grand scheme of things as far as British wrestling concerned. So if you get one of them jackets, it means something about your ability.
Definitely. Now, how do you find the transition? Look, we know you're obviously, you know, you do a lot of tag stuff as well, but like, you know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? Like you're probably going to go on the singles run now, and obviously, you know, you're going to be very dominant in either tag or singles, but you know what I mean? Where do you think it is for you, you know, in the near future? You know what I mean? Is it going to be a singles wrestler, or are you happy enough to multitask both all the way through?
Seeing as I've felt when I came into wrestling, I was sort of born and bred into being a tag team wrestler with my tag partner, Ethan. But when he's got injured, I feel like I adapted quite well to the singles divisions. And I'm happy when he's back to being both. You know, I don't plan on losing that Atlas title anytime soon. But I want those tag belts as well, because we were on the track, you know, to winning those. That was our plan, and that's what we wanted to do. So whether it means I'll be a double champion, I'm happy to have the weight of that.
No, I respect that. No, look, we know Forbidden Door is a beautiful thing. Now, we know, in a sense, WWE don't really, you know, work with that Forbidden Door. Although we did see Mickie James in the Royal Rumble, but would you happily welcome Walter back to Progress and to challenge you for that belt? Who knows? He might want it back. You know what I mean? He might want to face the new talent, the new product. You know what I mean? The new face of the company. Yeah. So is that something you'd be open to? Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, look, we see NXT UK. You know, we know All Elite Wrestling, New Japan have a new deal going on. Like, what kind of stands out to you, being an observant, you know, independent stare? Like, where could you see perhaps your future down the road laying at? Like,
if someone like that wants to come back, I mean, Walter was probably the face of the Atlas title, I would say.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a belt sort of made for him, and you know, we kind of perfected that style here. But you know, times have changed now, and I'm the Atlas champion now. If he wants to come back, it's fine. Come back as Gunther, whatever he's called now.
Yeah.
You know, he can come back, but Progress isn't his promotion anymore. It's my promotion now. Yeah. And I've worked hard to get that belt, and I wouldn't let someone like that come back and take it from me. I don't care who he is, where he's from. I'll smack him up. I couldn't care less.
Best way to be. Like, as a fan, right, because I know you're a fan, obviously, it's your trade and you're a fan, but when you look at all these organizations, right, outside of, you know, the indie scene, you have All Elite, you have, you know, Ring of Honor / All Elite, WWE, what stands out to you most? What do you like at this moment in time, if you are observing what's there?
Going off, I'm not sure if I'm a particularly a specific big fan of any sort of mainstream promotion now. It seems to be a lot of old wrestling for me at the minute. There's particularly like wrestlers that stand out to me from the different promotions. But as far as the mainstream, I'm not which one appeals to me the most. I'm just kind of go with the flow. It's all about the indies for me at the minute. So
I agree. I'm glad you said that. But listen, the name that is floating about in the indie scene, right? Will Ospreay. Right, that we all know quite well. You know what I mean? That would be an incredible match, Luke. You know what I mean? If that was to happen, you know, maybe we can make it happen in Ireland, over the top wrestling, you know, Dublin. But all these guys you watch on the indie scene, who stands out to you most? Who would be that match you're going to say, right, this guy will bring the best out of me? Is Will Ospreay one of these guys?
I mean, I've got some unfinished business with Ospreay because I've had some run-ins with him at Rev Pro and all of United Empire. Yeah. So if Ospreay wants to do the match, I'll do it because I know he's the British heavyweight champion. I'm the Progress heavyweight champion, Atlas champion. You know, so I'd happy to do the match with him. He's faced the who's who and all that. He's faced Michael Oku, and Oku gave him a pretty good fight. So he'd want to be careful if he gets in there with me. But yeah, I'd be up for that. As far as a big indie name that stands out to me, I'm not too sure. Maybe the Progress World Champion, Gresham.
Perfect match. Like we see Gresham's name being mentioned quite a lot on Twitter. Mark Haskins, you know what I mean? A lot of guys say, look, that'd be a great match. Like any name that's put next to your name, it's going to be a good match. There's no doubt about it. You have that status right now. That's been a lot of hard work, a lot of hard grit. But how do you see 2022 pan out for you? Look, there's going to be a lot of bookings. You know, we're probably going to see all around Europe. Obviously, it's going to be a very busy year for you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing some good business in 2022. Hopefully more belts, build stock value, and, you know, be a draw and really carry on building British wrestling. You know, create a new incredible era for British wrestling.
And obviously, look, you mentioned British wrestling. Surely it's the biggest in Europe. You know what I mean? We know Ireland. There's 2 organisations, well, 2 or 3. But look, when we go back to the British style, you know, the likes of Pete Dunne, all these great guys that have been around, and look, we know what's there right now. It's in a really good place, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's in a great, considering, you know, we COVID and everything stopped, and we had a lot of wrestlers left to, you know, be signed to contracts and all these things. British wrestling, you know, we had to completely reset. And I think in the short time, it's in a great position. It's got great talent. And, you know, a lot of the standard on the shows is some serious professional quality. And I'm really proud to be a part of it and be a flag bearer for British wrestling.
No better boy as well, Luke. I have to mention quickly, Luke, what's your take on the whole name changing thing? We mentioned Walter and he's now called Gunter, right? Do you think that's a load of bullshit? Do you think names should be left alone? Obviously, look, there's trademarks and all this kind of stuff, but it's crazy to see some guy build up a reputation. We all know who he is and then change a name. It's a bit bizarre, isn't it? It's kind of getting messy.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just when you get to the bigger scale of pro wrestling, it's the corporate side of wrestling, you know, trademarks and things like that. Yeah. I think it's a shame when people build their names up with such stock value and it gets changed. Though they're still the same wrestler, you know, their name's the name. And it's what goes with the character, the wrestler themselves. And I think it is a bit of a shame, to be honest, yeah.
No, it is. A quick fire questions, my man. Growing up as a young kid, who was your favourite wrestler? So you only can pick one, right? Who was the guy that stood out to you and you said, right, I want to try and replicate what he's done or she's done?
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, big
ruthless aggression era Brock Lesnar.
Pure aggression. He's something else, isn't he? Even since he's come back, he really looks good as well. I know Roman done the job, but look, he looks great.
I'd say he's probably the greatest, most convincing professional wrestler of all time. No one's ever been, you know, that big of a draw. No one's ever managed to do anything like he's done. So yeah, I idolized him as a kid.
Brock's the guy. No, listen, a lot of people saying, you know, we want to see Luke fight, you know, maybe a YouTuber. If you had to fight a YouTuber right now, this is outside of wrestling. Look, there's great money to be made in this YouTube stuff, right? Who's that one guy you'd love to punch? Who's that one celebrity that pisses you off? You know, he's on TV all the time, and he doesn't deserve to be there. But look, who's that one guy? You know, would it be anyone you'd be interested in the YouTube ring?
I can't say I necessarily follow all these YouTube guys. I can't stand any of them. I think they're all a bunch of. I'll refrain from some of the insults, but yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't really know. Really, I don't know. I'd rather just be, because it's a bit of a circus show, that stuff. So I'm not sure if I'd rather just be separate from it. I'm sure the paychecks are nice, but I wouldn't know how even getting involved in some of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, we respect that. Aaron wants to know, if you weren't a wrestler, what would you do? So if you weren't wrestling right now, what would you be doing?
Couldn't. I think when I was 15, I saw Pumping Iron, the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary, and I probably wanted to be a professional bodybuilder or something like that when I was younger. But other than that, it's always been wrestling. It's hard for me to even think, really, because I could just say, a random 9-to-5 job, but that ain't it for me. So God knows.
I love it. No, you could have answered the question already. It's the last trick question, right? I know you could have answered it, but look, WWE or All Elite Wrestling, you can only pick one, right? Look, the 2 contracts on the table. A year from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, you have to choose one, right? You're going to move to America. 2 contracts, 2-3 million. You deserve it. Which one would you pick? All Elite or WWE?
All Elite.
Epic.
Easy pick.
Epic. Listen, Luke, it's an absolute honor, my man. We appreciate it very much. We'll be over to Progress soon, right? We're in the process of getting the team over to Progress. So look, we'll wait for the big one. Hopefully we get to see you defend that title very soon. And look, congratulations. It's well deserved, my man. And I will see you very soon.
Thank you for having me, mate. Appreciate it.
We'll see you soon, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.